Hello, everyone. Today is April 21st, 2021. I am posting the New York City fire/crime news a day late this week because of the awful incident that happened yesterday in West Hempstead, Long Island, at the Stop&Shop on Hempstead Turnpike and Jerry Valley Avenue. This hit really close to home for me because I've been in that Stop&Shop with my dad numerous times over the years. My friend over in Franklin Square, Nick, he always goes to that supermarket with his mom all the time. And I was shocked to hear that this was happening in the West Hempstead, Franklin Square area, a normal, safe area along Hempstead Turnpike. And we know at this moment one person's dead, two people are injured. The good news is the two people are going to be okay. They were in stable condition. Hopefully, by the time this video is released, maybe they're out of the hospital already. But sad to report that the store manager shot and killed by a deranged gunman who is in custody, thank goodness. And hopefully, this person's going to be taken care of in the proper way of the law. And my thoughts and prayers are with the manager's family and friends, along with the manager's fellow employees. Every employee in that particular Stop&Shop on Hempstead Turnpike in Long Island. And here in Queens, we do keep you in our thoughts and prayers, especially how we're a neighboring county of Nassau, and we do keep you in every which way to just be thankful that you guys are okay. And a little dramatizing, but yeah. And also, I'm posting this video day after the Derek Chauvin murder trial. I'm recording this when we don't even know the verdict yet, but I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. There'll be more crime if this officer's found not guilty. I don't know, but what I am going to do is take you to the taping from yesterday, right before the shooting happened in West Hempstead, of the other fire and crime news in New York City. So without further ado, here we go. So we have a lot to get into as usual. We are going to discuss latest fire news, including an awful fire that happened in Greenwich Village yesterday that impacted a local business. We are also going to discuss the official cause of the fire that happened in Jackson Heights a couple of weeks ago. And we have a developing story in Brooklyn near Marine Park, where we have another fire being reported, a 2-alarm. But I'll get into some good news about that because I have been following updates from the FDNY, of course. So let's get into, I guess, the developing story. We're going to go right to our Firewire, since this is most urgent matter at hand. This fire happened around 9:45 this morning near Marine Park in Brooklyn. The address reported was a house fire at 2184 East 37th Street, not too far from the Kings Plaza Shopping Center in Mill Basin, and not too far from where Marine Park is, and not too far from Garrettson Beach. So, obviously, I know this area very well. This is by a playground, by the way. I did my research. Now, the good news is, even though this was a 2-alarm originally reported, the FDNY about an hour ago confirmed that there are no injuries in this incident. Multiple ladders were called in from Brooklyn, but the good news is no injuries. That's the main thing here. So I figured we would lead off with that, since that is priority number one, of course. Alright, so now let's get into awful fire that was reported in Greenwich Village. 4 firefighters were reported injured while battling this fire at a tavern. And I will mention, last night, Lucy Yang from WABC TV did an excellent job covering this, so give one time to WABC TV. They were right on it. So let's get into the article here. This happened yesterday afternoon, April 19th. Pretty decent warm afternoon. It was 65 degrees. People were out enjoying the weather, and I know I'm going to try to get out and enjoy the weather today after I'm done editing this video, but happened yesterday afternoon, 6 p.m. on April 19th, Monday, at 142 Bleecker Street near LaGuardia Place, where the second floor of an apartment building was set ablaze. Once again, 4 firefighters were reported injured. Plumes of smoke rose from the apartment building just above GMT Tavern. Several fire hoses zigzagged beneath scaffolding, and outside dining structures were pushed aside in order for firefighters to access the scene. Several trucks lifted first responders onto the roof in the second-story inferno, where firefighters could be seen smashing out the windows, creating ventilation. According to FDNY sources, 140 firefighters did respond to this incident. So we do have a video, and I just want to confirm if my audio is the way it is, because I want you to be able to hear the desktop direct audio. So we're just going to confirm that right now. So you should be able to hear it. Let's play the video. Yeah, I mean, look how thick that smoke is. Wow. And I will mention that this area in Greenwich Village, this exact location, Bleecker Street, you go south a couple blocks, that's Houston Street. You go up north, that's Washington Square Park, and that's where NYU is. So, I do know this area very well, by the way. So, let's get down here. The absurd smell of smoke lingered in the air while crowds gathered and watched the firefighters burst into the lower restaurant, lugging power saws. Oh, look at that! See, trying to cut into the building, I guess. Guess we'll save this for our thumbnail. I mean, this is just a very powerful picture. All right, so. A nearby restaurant worker said, "We saw all the trucks coming here and realized the building was on fire," said Diana, who works at the Red Lion, which is located adjacent to the fire on Bleecker and Thompson Street. At first, Diana and her co-worker Celso smelled something burning, and they were surprised to see a black cloud of smoke emit from the building. "It's been such a hard year. We're really trying to support each other, and now the owner won't be able to open." And sadly, there was another fire reported in this area back in 2016. Wow, 5 years ago. It's just been so bad this year with the pandemic and now the fire. You see here, that's one of the windows damaged. So over the course of an hour, FDNY units managed to quell the fire, but smoke was still visible wafting through the fractured window panes. So a nearby witness did see what happened. Right, and again, 4 firefighters injured, 3 suffered minor injuries. 1 firefighter was removed with serious but non-life-threatening wounds. Fire marshal is currently looking into cause of fire. Okay, now speaking of fires that we do have a cause of, we officially now have an update in regards to what happened with the fire in Jackson Heights a couple of weeks ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this video for you from WNBC TV.
helping the hundreds of families displaced by a devastating fire earlier this month in Queens. Some lost all of their belongings. Many of them are now far from their community and from their schools and jobs, living week to week in hotels, wondering what are they going to do next. But today, a promise of long-term help from the mayor, the community, and other local leaders. News 4's Erica Byfield's live for us now in Jackson Heights with the latest. Erica.
Well, Adam, two significant things happened today. First of all, we got the cause from the FDNY for this fire. They're telling us it was accidental electrical. And also, the second big development is that the mayor is saying impacted people can stay in hotels. Workers surveyed the fire damage with a massive cherry picker on Friday. Last week, it was firefighters who had to reach to great heights to try to knock down a massive blaze. The fire injured more than 20, displacing nearly 100 people. John lives across the street. We found him staring at the building in disbelief.
Their stuff, everything, just their life were just there in this apartment. So I don't know. I cannot imagine how it can be for them.
Fire marshals now say the fire was an accident caused when someone overloaded a power strip, adding it spread so quickly because someone left a door open. Investigators use social media to remind New Yorkers the importance of shutting the door.
It's a message that we repeat over and over and over. Close the door, close the door, close the door.
Yeah, we have to be careful.
While the fire may be out, impacted people are still trying to put their lives back together. Many of them now staying in hotels, fearful they might have to move out into shelters. The mayor promised he would not let that happen.
I can tell you right now, absolutely, I want to extend the hotels. I want to figure out what's a long-term way of helping you and all the other families. But right now, for the immediate future, we will extend the hotels.
People who live in this area have decided to pool their money, put it together to try to help the people who have lost everything because of this fire. From Queens, Erica Byfield, News 4, New York.
So again, as you heard in that video, overloaded power strip was the cause of the fire that happened in Jackson Heights 2 weeks ago. I want to extend my well wishes to all the residents who were displaced in that apartment building. Very sad incident. So the official update from the FDNY regarding this fire was 21 people, 16 firefighters, and 5 civilians. Now, there is a video from the FDNY that they did talk about regarding close the door, close the door, close the door. So I want to see that video. Hopefully we can find it. There is media here, but again, that's going to be a long shoot. But I'm going to find it. Believe me, I am going to find that video because it is on Twitter. We are going to find it. Right. You know, fire department's always active. In fact, they're even all over the vaccines. I got to give them credit. Right. Let's see if we can find this video, because I'm sure it's somewhere. Let's see. Look at this, another example of what happens when you power strips are overloaded. So I just want to mute this. So let's watch this video very briefly. Yeah, I'm not going to have the audio on. So look at this. Another overloaded power strip. This was in Manhattan. Wow. So let's see. Firefighters had to use 2 separate roof rope rescues, and they had to remove a child and an adult in this incident. Wow. Overloaded extension cord. Right, too many wires. Of course. What happens is if you plug one extension cord into another, that could be a problem. Never use an extension cord with a space heater. Okay, I'm just trying to see if I can find the video. I know I'm not trying to make this video too long, but... yeah, here we go. This is the video. So let's watch it.
The door to the fire apartment was left open. In 2017, we lost 13 people in the Bronx in a fire, but the door was left open. Please, if you have a fire in your home, in your apartment, and you have to leave, close that door and keep that fire contained. Had this fire been lower in the building, it could have had a terrible result in loss of life with that door being left open. It's a message that we repeat over and over and over. Close the door, close the door, close the door.
So again, very powerful video by Commissioner Daniel Nigro. So now we're going to move on to our crime news. And I'm sorry if it took too long, but there were so many things that we had to get into. First disturbing thing we gotta talk about. Homicide count going up in New York City. Let's read this. Over the weekend, 21 people shot in New York City with one homicide. The new models are drive-by shootings and carjackings. Here's one example in Queens. Around 2 a.m. on Sunday, a driver was carjacked in College Point. The suspect rear-ended him when the driver of the Maserati got out of the vehicle. Okay, that's very suspicious. What's a Maserati doing in Queens? Another suspect took off with the vehicle. This is on 23rd Avenue and 124th Street. The suspect also took off with the original vehicle. As for DeBozo's plea, please put the guns down, 8 public housing locations reported shots fired, including in Astoria and Jamaica. Oh, look at this. Shooting in Astoria. 22-year-old was shot dead while sitting inside his Range Rover in Astoria at 41st Street and 30th Avenue. This happened when 2 suspects were sitting in the back seat. Oh, man, that's a horrible type. Really. You know, let's see what happened here. Anything else in Queens we got to get into? Yes, okay. Single vehicle collision involving vehicle and Little Neck. Police close off 255th Street and Little Neck Parkway. And sadly, I know this area very well, and I'll get into that. This is right by the Grand Central Parkway westbound exit location. This is involving the Deepdale Co-op security vehicle hit 2 parked vehicles while turning. EMS reported minor injuries. Now, I know this area because I have a friend who lives nearby. So, trust me, I am just wondering how the media could miss this one. And then we have this in Jamaica. Police close off Hillside Avenue and 107 units respond to Hillside and 185th Street, reporting a male shot. EMS is attending to the victim laying on the ground. ESU is working to collect evidence, including shell casing. Ongoing investigation, no arrest. So there you go. Lawless NYC at work. Let's check out Queens. Yeah, so the Courier brought this up. Alright, so Long Island robbery. I don't want to get into that. Oh, look at this. Anti-Semitism reported in Forest Hills. Let's get into this one. Cops cuff suspect behind synagogue swastika trolling in Forest Hills. Alright, here we go. So this happened back in February, correct? So they finally got a suspect, so let's play the Law and Order music. Alright, so the suspect's name is Ramantin Rabwanu. Ramtin Rabanu. I can't pronounce this name. He was arrested last Thursday, April 15th, and charged with aggravated harassment and criminal mischief as a hate crime after he defaced a synagogue located at 97-30 Queens Boulevard with the symbol of hate, originally reported back on Wednesday, February 17th, police said, from the 110 precinct. Rabanu was arraigned on the charges, among others, in Queens Criminal Court in Kew Gardens on Friday, April 16th. Surveillance footage from around the synagogue allegedly showed Rabanu tagging various street lamps, emergency response box, and traffic devices around the time of the incident, according to Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz. Rabanu identified himself in the footage when police showed the suspect the tapes while questioning him, said the district attorney. The swastika drawing prompted an immediate rebuke from elected leaders in the area. Congresswoman Grace Ming, State Senator Tony Anstrabowski, Assemblyman Andrew Hervashi, and Councilwoman Karen Kotzowitz wrote a letter condemning the act of anti-Semitism vandalism. Okay, here we go. This is a statement that they issued back in February. There is absolutely no room for this kind of hatred in our communities. We have consulted with the New York Police Department 110 precinct and are confident that the perpetrator behind this cowardly offense will be found and will face justice. So remember, this is Forest Hills. So in that area, they are represented by the 110 precinct. If you go to Kew Gardens, they share the 110 and the 112. So just bringing that up. Rabanu is ordered to return back to Queens Criminal Court in Kew Gardens on April 30th. If convicted, he will face up to 16 months to 4 years in a prison. Alright, so there you go. Anything is, final law and order, I guess, somewhat does prevail in this case. Okay, anything else in Queens we got to get into? We have an assault in Briarwood. Let's see what else. Oh, look at this. The media actually covered this very well. Believe it or not. There was a woman found in the back seat of a vehicle in Far Rockaway last week. Now, let's get into this one. 4 men have been charged in connection to the death of a Bayswater woman who was found in the trunk of a vehicle. Authorities say at 1:45 in the morning on Wednesday, April 14th, officers from the 101 precinct who represent Far Rockaway, they spotted the men placing a large object inside the trunk of a Nissan Altima sedan, parked in front of Phone Place. The men then piled into the sedan and began to drive away. The officers followed and conducted a car stop in the vicinity of Nassau Expressway and Bayview Avenue along the Queens-Nassau borderline. The investigation found 31-year-old Nazareth Quad of 25-66 Besmond Avenue in the trunk unconscious and unresponsive, and wrapped within a blanket. EMS rushed to the location and declared Claude dead at the scene. The medical examiner will determine the cause of death. 4 men were taken into custody at the scene, with joint officers joining from the NYPD and Nassau County. As a result of the investigation, police arrested 22-year-old Alan Lopez, who police said in a press conference was Claude's boyfriend and a member of the MS-13 gang, last Thursday, April 15th. He was not at the scene where Claude's body was found. Lopez was charged with murder, criminal possession of a weapon, and criminal possession of a controlled substance. Police also charged Jose Cimriano, Miguel Yojaro, and Rodolfo Lopez. Cimriano and Yojaro were charged with murder and criminal possession of a weapon, while Rafael Lopez was charged with concealment of a human corpse and tampering with physical evidence. At this time, it is not clear what the motive behind the murder was. The investigation is ongoing by both the NYPD and Nassau County Police. Because remember, this was on the Queens-Nassau borderline, and when the police originally from the NYPD did respond to this incident, the Nassau County Police had to get called in because this was literally on the county line where Nassau Expressway is, which is Route 878 if you're not familiar with the area. So, I wonder where the criminals are going to go. Are they going to have to go to Kew Gardens or are they going to have to go to Mineola? That's a good question. We'll have to find that out. when a court date is set. Let's see what else. Wow. Man from Ridgewood dies in accident. Okay, let's see. Because I really want to get to AM New York. We got a lot of stories we got to cover in AM New York. Now let's go to Briarwood. Because this is probably an incident where the 107 had to get involved. Alright, so let's see here. Police are looking for two thieves who attacked and robbed a man in Briarwood last week. On Tuesday, April 13th at 3:30 p.m., a 45-year-old man was walking near 85th Road and 84th Drive when he walked by two unidentified men, according to the police. After the 45-year-old walked past him, one of the unidentified men tapped the other's arm. Video of the incident shows. Suddenly, one of the men walked up behind the 45-year-old and punched him in the back of his head. The attacker then reached into the 45-year-old's back pocket and grabbed the victim's wallet, which had $70 in cash and multiple credit cards inside it. The duo then ran off northbound on 84th Drive. The 45-year-old victim was taken to nearby Jamaica Hospital where he was treated for minor injuries. Police have given a description of the suspects. So let me try to zoom out so you can see the video while I read the description. Okay, here we go. Police say one of the suspects was last seen wearing a black mask over his face, a yellow hooded sweater, gray sweatpants, and black sneakers. The other suspect was last seen wearing a black mask over his face, a mauve hooded sweater, black pants, and white sneakers, according to authorities. No arrests have been made, and there is an ongoing investigation. So, this is where you come in. Anyone with information can call the Crime Stoppers hotline at 1-800-577-TIPS, 8477, in Espanol, 888-57-74782, which is pista. The public can also submit their tips by logging on to the Crime Stoppers website at www.nypdcrimestoppers.com or on Twitter at NYPDTips. You can also remain anonymous, of course. Also, please note this did happen in the confines of the 107, so if you do hear anything, please give them a call. See, I really wish I would have their phone number on my phone, but I don't. So I will pull it up in a second. So, 107 phone number is 718-969-5100. Once again, 718-969-5100 is the phone number of the 107. If you do see anything, want to notify the precinct, let them know, because they do cover Briarwood. Okay, next up, we are going to go into this incident that happened in the Bronx. 5 teen girls climb fire escape to rob Bronx apartment and get away with Michael Kors purse, jewelry, and cash. Now, I can't play the video because, again, I'm not subscribed to the Daily News, so I can't get you a video, but I can give you the details about what happened. Okay, so here we go. This incident happened on April 11th at 7:30 p.m. 5 crooks scaled the building on Sheridan Avenue near East 168th Street in the Concord section of the Bronx. A group of teen girls were caught on video climbing a fire escape to break into the apartment, making away with the Michael Kors purse, jewelry, and $500 in cash. One burglar, who was wearing a Rugrats hoodie, pulled the fire escape ladder down to the ground while her friends gleefully recorded on their cell phones. Oh, these are stupid criminals. The teens climbed the fire escape until they found an apartment with nobody home and broke in through a window. Oh, and take a look at this. The credit card was from Macy's. Wow. Okay, so they're looking to see if the suspects are believed to be between the ages of 16 and 18. So, possibly a couple of these suspects could be tried as juveniles. Okay, so let's move on to AM New York, 'cause we have a lot we got to get into in AM New York. Okay, so we have a couple incidents involving vehicles, so I want to get into that. There was something involved with that. Oh, we definitely got to get into this, because there's so much stuff going on in Brooklyn. It's just crazy. Okay, so let me see. Oh, this is awful. Incident at Washington Square Park. Oh, and then get this. Teenager from Ohio bought an AK-47 onto the subway. Okay, so let's get into a couple of these, and then we'll get to the urgent matter at hand in Brooklyn at the end. Okay, so here we go. Ford subtract the trailer collision leads to pedestrian death in Harlem. A collision between a powerful 2017 International tractor-trailer and a pedestrian led to a tragic death of a 39-year-old man in Harlem. The incident occurred on April 19th, so this happened yesterday, wow, at 7:13 p.m. when the 39-year-old operator was backing the mighty vehicle into an off-street loading dock bay to the west of Frederick Douglass Boulevard on the north side of West 144th Street in Harlem. Units from the 32nd Precinct find the pedestrian lying on the ground with head trauma, and EMS units were called. The victim was taken, who, identified later as a gentleman, was pronounced deceased at nearby Harlem Hospital. The truck operator was uninjured and will not be charged because she did remain on the scene. So we know the truck driver was a female, it looks like. Probably. They're not going to say what the driver was, but it looked like a female in here. Another incident. Brooklyn woman fatally hit by driver near an auto dealership. So this happened in Bay Ridge. No charges have been filed against the driver who fatally struck a 72-year-old woman as he drove by a vehicle off to a Brooklyn auto dealership lot on Thursday afternoon. So this happened last week, it looks like, on April 15th. Now remember, the rain could have probably been a factor because it was really coming down hard on Thursday afternoon because I had to go out for my COVID vaccine. Police say the incident happened at 3:20 p.m. in front of the dealership at 8910 4th Avenue in Bay Ridge. According to law enforcement sources, Carol Langdon, 72, of 36th Street in Borough Park, was fatally struck as she was walking in front of the dealership. Cops then say the driver, a 29-year-old man, pulled a white 2021 Volkswagen Atlas forward to exit the sidewalk at Forest Place when he hit Langdon. He stopped his vehicle and remained at the scene. Officers from the 68th Precinct responded to the incident. EMS rushed Langdon to nearby Langone Hospital, Brooklyn, where she was pronounced dead. The case has been presented to the Highway Patrol Collision Investigation Squad for further examination. So again, they have to look into the weather because remember, it was raining on Thursday. So there's a good chance that they're going to have to look into the weather conditions on Thursday afternoon when this incident did occur. Alright, so let's see here. Yes, this was a very disturbing incident. In fact, Channel 4 did extensive coverage on this over the weekend. Suspect who attacked Brooklyn cops with chemical Molotov cocktail will, in fact, face federal charges. So therefore, we need the law and order music of this convict. Alright, so let's get into the details. The suspect who attacked police officers in Brooklyn with a caustic chemical and a Molotov cocktail on Saturday, April 17th, will be booked on federal charges this week. Lionel Virgil, a resident of Bridgeport, Connecticut, is now being investigated by federal agents for his alleged actions against officers in the 67th Precinct in East Flatbush. Sources familiar with the case told AM New York Metro that Virgil will appear in district court in Brooklyn, so he already appeared yesterday, for arraignment on federal charges. According to WABC-TV, the ABC affiliate in New York City, federal prosecutors in the Eastern District of New York are considering booking him for possession of a weapon of mass destruction. Body cam footage that the NYPD released Saturday showed the suspect, identified as Virgil, hurling a cup full of caustic liquid at an officer who approached him at the intersection of Clarendon Road and East 45th Street during a traffic stop. Virgil is shown on the video in the driver's seat of a gray Lincoln Town car and reaching down to his left for something. Seconds later, he opens the front door and threw a cup of caustic liquid at the officer who questioned him. Following the attack, Virgil got back behind the wheel of the Lincoln and sped away. The officers were able to radio a description of the culprit and request additional assistance. Moments later, in the area of Snyder Avenue and East 56th Street, 2 additional officers spotted the suspect and vehicle in question and moved to stop it. As they did so, Virgil allegedly stopped the sedan, got out of the vehicle, and then hurled a Molotov cocktail at the officer's cruiser. The improvised explosive device bounced off the police car's windshield to the pavement. Neither officer was injured. Following the failed Molotov cocktail incident, Virgil allegedly got back into the Lincoln and sped away, but his run from law enforcement ended later when he crashed into a parked SUV less than a block away on Snyder Avenue. Additional police cruisers boxed the Lincoln Town car in, and officers took Virgil into custody without further incident. According to the NYPD, afterwards, several more Molotov cocktails were found inside the Lincoln Town car. There you go. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. Okay, so I'm going to get into 3 more articles, I promise, because I don't really want to continue on with the video making it too long, because there's so much crime I can cover, but... No, there's 2 more, because there's an urgent matter. Hostage situation in Brooklyn, potentially. I'll get into that one. Alright, so let's get into this one. Man slashed in Washington Square Park after trying to break up couple's quarrel. Yikes. A would-be peacekeeper who tried to calm a warring couple in Washington Square Park early Saturday morning ended up being slashed for his trouble. Law enforcement sources said the slashing occurred inside the Greenwich Village green space at 2:35 in the morning on April 17th. According to police, the 21-year-old man came upon a man and woman as they argued with each other and apparently attempted to intervene. His actions, however, provoked the male suspect, who got into a physical struggle with the victim. Seconds later, authorities said, the victim was knocked to the ground and the woman then held him down while her squeeze attacked him with a knife. The male suspect slashed the victim across the left elbow and upper back, then fled with his gal pal from the park in an unknown direction. Officers from the 6th Precinct EMS units responded to the incident. Paramedics brought the victim to Bellevue Hospital, where he is listed in stable condition. Detectives are continuing to search for the couple involved in the attack, both of whom to believe in their 30s. Police sources did not have a further physical description of the pair. Okay. So I promise, after this, I got 2 more from Brooklyn I really have to read. Ohio teen with AK-47 cuffed at 42nd Street Port Authority subway station in Midtown. Police are questioning an 18-year-old man arrested on Friday afternoon, April 16th, after officers spotted him clutching an AK-47 rifle at the 42nd Street Port Authority ACE subway station near Times Square. According to the police, the arrest happened at 12:30 p.m. on the mezzanine level, which in the confines of Transit District 1. Officers on patrol in the area, law enforcement sources said, saw the suspect sitting at the mezzanine while holding what appeared to be an assault weapon. Citing sources, WNBC-TV, the NBC affiliate in New York, reported that the weapon appeared to be a semi-automatic in nature, but was not loaded at the time. So, in a tweet from Commissioner Dermot Shea, he did later confirm the weapon was an AK-47 and had loaded magazines involved. So, looks like these are the two officers who did make the arrest. So, big kudos to them. Thank you, Transit District 1. So, the teenager was reportedly from Ohio. He was taken into custody without incident. Good news is there is no public threat. So that is excellent news. But that is just surprising. Why would somebody bring an AK-47 into the subway? I've seen the police bring it in, but not civilians. Okay, so two more. This is from the Brooklyn paper, believe it or not, which is affiliated with AM Metro New York. Gunman barricades himself in Bushwick. So look at this. A Bushwick block went into lockdown Monday evening, April 19th, after an armed man barricaded himself and others on Hazley Street. The man locked himself with 3 people near Knickerbocker Avenue at 4:15 p.m. The NYPD sent its emergency service unit to the scene and arrested the man just after 5:30 p.m. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, so that's some good news. And it says we have an arrest. So, 2 arrests, right? So let me just confirm this, right? I didn't play the Law and Order music, so let me just confirm that we did have the article. Yes, so suspect in Ohio, Law and Order music. And then suspect in Brooklyn, Law and Order music. Okay, good. Alright, we're back on track. The block was cornered off and an NYPD chopper hovered overboard, according to videos posted on the Citizen app. So, this is the only updates that we have right now. Come to think of it, I just saw something urgent in Queens. Yikes, I gotta get into this one. I promised I'd said there'd be no more articles, but there is so much that we gotta get into. Where's the, I'm trying to find the one in Queens. Yeah, here we go. Gunmen sought for shooting woman in arrest at Queens Hotel near JFK Airport. Cops in Queens are looking for a perpetrator who shot a woman at a hotel near JFK Airport. Law enforcement sources said the shooting happened at 2:45 a.m. on April 17th at the JFK Inn located at 154-10 South Conduit Avenue in South Jamaica. Officers from the 105 precinct responded to a 911 call about the shooting, finding a 23-year-old woman in one of the rooms with a gunshot. EMS units rushed her to Jamaica Hospital in stable condition with an injury and was not considered life-threatening. Police are now looking for a male suspect in the shooting. Initial reports describe the suspect as a heavy-set man wearing a black sweatsuit, red pants, and a black mask. So there is no motive for the shooting. How could I miss this in the Queen's Courier website? Women struck by train after jumping on the tracks. Where did this happen? So this happened on Thursday afternoon, April 15th. Wow. So apparently a 12:10 happened. I didn't even know about this. She was jumping onto the tracks at a 7 train, came into the 46th Street Bliss station at 4:45 p.m. The NYPD, which did not suspect criminality in the incident, could not confirm the woman's condition. EMS personnel transported the woman to Elmhurst Hospital. Oh, okay, right. Unauthorized person on the track is 12:10. 12:09 is when a person gets struck by the train. So there is no confirmation of the woman's condition right now. Firefighters and EMS personnel responded to the incident, made their way onto tracks in an effort to provide aid to the woman as two trains sat on either side of the station. The subway line was delayed in both directions as emergency personnel provided aid. Okay. So in this incident, the Long Island Railroad was cross-honoring, so that was good news. And at the time, the MTA encouraged passengers to use the nearby E, F, M, R, N, and W lines for nearby service between Queens and Manhattan. See, that's the problem. They didn't even mention the N and W lines in Astoria. Alright, so this is the last one. I promise. No more after this. Brooklyn man shot to death in dispute with his daughter's ex-boyfriend. So this happened early this morning. This happened in, looks like Brownsville. Yeah, Brownsville. My best friend's old neighborhood. Wow. From high school. Law enforcement sources said Vernon Kelly was shot dead in front of a residence on Osborne Street in Brownsville at 4:25 a.m. earlier this morning after coming to his daughter's aid and confronting the suspect. According to sources familiar with the investigation, the shooting stemmed from a feud that began earlier in the evening and resulted in Kelly's daughter confronting the shooter in Brownsville. Police sources said that then she called Kelly, who then came to the location from his home on Avenue K in the Flatland section. Shortly after arriving in in Brownsville, Kelly got into a dispute with the gunman in front of the Osborne Street home. The words then turned physical when the perpetrator pulled out a firearm and blasted Kelly in the chest. Authorities said the suspect, who was shirtless at the time, then ran away from the scene, losing one of his shoes in the process. Police believe he may have hopped into a nearby purple 2007 Chevy vehicle that fled the location. Officers from the 73rd Precinct responded to the shooting. EMS rushed Kelly to Brookdale University Hospital, where he was pronounced dead a short time later. Yikes. Oh, and then look at this. Shooting in Harlem. Police sources said that the shooting happened after midnight this morning in front of a business on West 125th Street, just west of Amsterdam Avenue. According to law enforcement sources, the victim told detectives he was walking through the area when he heard a shot ring out. That's when he discovered that he had been hit by a bullet. The teenager was rushed to nearby Mount St. Sinai St. Luke's Hospital, where he's listed in stable condition, so that's good news at least. There is no description of the suspect, so. Alright, so there you have it. All the crime you need in one video, besides fire news. There's so many I can get into, but that would take a whole hour. So, with that, thank you all for watching, and until the next one, please take care.